I'm going to introduce a person who actually speaks eloquently for a living. Our first speaker today is going to talk with us about the importance of gathering and celebrating with intention. She's a modern metaphysical minister known for her incredibly deep and personal ceremonies, but Barbara also has an incredible depth of knowledge and experience, and worked for many years to design learning programs and resources to help people find and develop meaning in their work. She's an absolute pillar in the Vancouver Island wedding community, and we are very fortunate and lucky to welcome Barbara Densmore to the stage.
I'm just going to talk about the 3M, the new 3M: mindful, meaningful, and married. So when I started out as the first celebrant on Vancouver Island, everybody was using a marriage commissioner. The going rate for marriage commissioners was $75. I was charging 10 times that. I had no idea if anybody even wanted a meaningful ceremony. But I figured that if they were into meaningful, I was going to find them. And the first year I did 26 ceremonies. 26. I don't think I even knew what meaningful was at the time. I was kind of making it up. Now, 15 years later, terms like mindful and meaningful are taking center stage. We're all starting to use them, which is really cool. But so why am I here? I'm up here because everybody who gets married goes through the efficient turnstile, right? Everybody is going to be married by somebody who has that legal designation. I see the people that you're all working with, but I see the people that you're not working with too. On one hand, I know my people really well. I know the people I work with, but I don't necessarily know all of you and how your practices work. So there's a bit of a conundrum putting this all together. But I figured, well, I'll just work from a standpoint of knowing my own stuff. And I'm going to trust that we're going to work collaboratively, and we'll be able to tie into some of the wisdom that's in the room too. So I may be asking you questions or doing some things because I work in a pretty collaborative fashion. Are you good with that? Cool. So these are the things that we're going to cover today. All the way down. I'll give you that. Most of it is all personal. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with mindful, because that's the perfect place to begin. So maybe as we begin, we can just take a mindful moment, okay? And just come on into this place. Come on into this place in this moment. Take a couple of deep breaths, everyone. Feel your feet on the floor. Floor underneath your feet. Feel your bum in your seat. Can you do that? You might even be able to feel your heart in your chest. Now, I just want you to take a moment and look around this room. You in front, you can turn around and look back if you want. Here you are. Here you are, a bold and daring group. You're starting on a journey together. Some wise and seasoned, some fresh and creative, coming together to learn from each other. Better way to live in this precious world. And a better way to support others to do the same. Today is going to be collaborative and pioneering. And we're so lucky to be here. We're just so lucky to be here. And grateful to Chelsea and Brian and all the sponsors and contributors who are bringing us together today and making it happen. So just take a couple of nice deep breaths again. And open up the space inside you. Because by the end of today, it's going to be filled. And so, let's begin. From mindful into meaningful. I ask the couples I work with what meaningful means to them. It's not some big, long dictionary definition. They usually come up with some pretty simple answers. Like, it's true to you, it's authentic, it matters, feels right, and there's values fit, right? It just feels right for you. For some people, meaningful looks like the traditional rituals and honoring history. But for other people, it's just simply being yourself, right? But you know what? It's not just about making things meaningful for the people you're working with. It's also doing it for yourself, so that the work you're doing is all of these things. It's true to you. It's authentic. It matters. Feels right. Just feels right. Now I'm going to give you a couple of little models that we're going to use through my talk today. And this, if you only remember one slide today, this is it, okay? This is called the productivity pyramid. It's by a guy named Stephen Covey. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People person. And his logic is this. If you start with a really solid base of discovery, if you get really curious and figure out what's going on, then planning is going to be a lot easier. It's going to take a lot less work. And then the amount of time you spend getting things done is going to be even less. So today, we're going to spend most of our time down in that bottom part. That's the part a lot of people kind of skim over. It's all about discovery, okay? And we're going to start with personality. And in particular, we're going to start with the MBTI indicator, Myers-Briggs type indicator. How many people know what that is? Show of hands. Okay. So you've done the test? You know your type? Cool. It's the most popular personality test in the world. 2 million people take it every year. We tend to use the test to figure ourselves out, and then we drop it, right? Don't learn how to use it to work with other people. It's really cool when you start using it with other people. And it's not just other people that have personalities. It's businesses and industries as well. We're not going to deal with the whole thing, because if we did, we'd be here all day. But instead, we're just going to deal with 2 axes that really, really, really impact the wedding industry. Extroverted versus introverted energy, where you get your energy from, and sensors and intuitors, how you intake and understand things, okay? There's a continuum when you're looking at the profiles, and one or the other. And it's not like the types are not like light switches. It's not like you're this, but you're not that. You can be a type, you can go into both every day, but one is the most comfortable space, okay? So, can you see the stuff at the bottom? Because I'm not good at reading here with the sun. You guys good? Can I give you a moment to read the copy that's there? So this is really about, where do you get your energy? If you have extroverted energy, then being around other people charges your batteries. If you have introverted energy, then you basically recharge your own batteries. Does that make sense? So you can look like an extrovert because you're out there doing all kinds of stuff, but you're really an introvert, because what you need to do is you need to get some downtime, you need to get some time to yourself. Yeah. How many of you would automatically, or the most comfortable side would be that extroverted side? Show of hands. Wow. That's great. How many of you lean more towards this introverted side? Look at that. Look at that. So the industry basically is more of an E side. The traditional wedding industry is more of an E side. Big party, whatever, all that kind of stuff. When we think of this other side, the introverted side, that's when we start thinking about elopements and small weddings and, divvying up the day, get married this day, party over here, those kinds of things. Because sometimes people who have that that need, that introverted side, need a little bit more time to regroup and regather. It's really hard to be mindful if you've run out of emotional bandwidth. Can't believe I'm talking to you like this. I wouldn't have talked to you like this 10 years ago. The big thing that is really fascinating is that historically, the population split was about 50-50. So half the people had that drive towards extroversion, the other half towards introversion. But it's changed now. So now 60% of the population lean towards that introverted side. So why do you think that is? Ideas?
Population is growing up, business is growing up, we deal more and more with people, so we want to be like a little close to ourselves. Because we, for example, like in Japan, there's a lot of like capacity of people in one spot. So that's why like people want to just spend their own time with them.
So after you're peopled out, you just wanna,
I think social media.
you think social media? I think social media. I think social media is huge. And I also think COVID was huge. COVID was huge. So that's kind of why we're headed more towards that. Interesting. Now, it doesn't mean if you have that lean towards introversion, which I'll talk a little bit because it seems like there's a fair number of you in the room. It doesn't mean that you have to do things small. It means that you can, you just need to have those breaks, the time out, the chance to recharge your batteries. This came up this week. I'm just going to skim through it. But this was a social media post that Maddie Mawson did. And this was a couple from the Laurel Point this last fall, raging introverts, absolute introverts, and had big families and needed to have a big wedding. And so what we did was we organized everything so that it was perfect. So they got the big wedding, but they were still comfortable. Didn't want to stand in front of a whole bunch of people, have that audience thing, worked with all of that. And what she talked about here was about the amount of emotion that came out because everything worked well for them, right for them. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go over here to sensors and intuitors, okay? So I'll just give you a sec to read the notes. So, sensors, real good with detail, right? Deal with the tangibles, good with tradition, getting things done. If you're a planner, you're probably an S, are you? How many people have we got in the room that lean towards that side? Yeah, good with detail, good with getting things done. Awesome, cool. Over on the other side, we have intuitors. Now, the pictures that I have up here, very traditional on the left, right? These guys did it upright. They did everything traditional, and it was awesome. Over here on the right, this was a couple who were recovering addicts, and we're just really grateful for their people. And so everybody who went to the wedding in the ceremony turned up and got a love letter signed by each of them, a personal one. So intuitors are more the why people. They're the bigger picture people. They're the ones who are connecting the dots between everything, making sure everything works. And here's the other interesting thing. Historically, 3/4 of the population were over here. They were detail-oriented, trusting the known. And now it's a 2/3, 1/3 split. So again, more people are heading over into this area. Why do you think that is?
I actually don't know.
Anybody? A lot of it is due to who we are and how we are changing as a society. And a lot of that is because of the shifting values of millennials. Right? Here we go. Off into values. Okay, so millennials Millennials are right now, you're between the ages of 27 and 47. How many millennials have we got in this room? Well, look at that. You probably know a lot of this stuff, so I'll skim through it fairly quickly, but it's really interesting to step back and look at it from a professional standpoint. I'm going to look at some of the values that millennials really hold most as far as weddings are concerned. So, here's the first one. So, millennials value friends and family above everything else. Generation X, they were all about individuality. Millennials, it's all about family and community. It's all about being connected. There's a lot more intention going into the guest list. Is this true for you? Yeah, a lot more intention going into the guest list. Yeah. It's not all about them. It's about them and their people. Yeah, belonging and connected. This is my September 5th this year couple. Why are we going to all this expense of this? We've asked ourselves that a few times, but it all comes down to this. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to bring the people we love together and to celebrate with them. The only time everyone we love will be together. Here's another value. So this is all about doing stuff you love with the people that you love. It's more about experiences than anything else. Doing things together, building lasting memories, things that you can take away, things that sit in your heart. It's about the time that you spend with people. This picture here, we just tied a giant knot when we married the couple. They're all holding on to a rope. Had a blast. So people can add extra things on. Is this familiar to you as a millennial? Yeah, feels pretty real. So it's more about doing things than just being there, than just being there. So you may see weddings with weekend getaways added, activities where people do things together, the golf game where everybody plays a bad game, the post-wedding brunch, all that kind of stuff. It's about being together with the people and making things happen. Yeah. I'll give you one more. Authenticity, doing it your way. The picture, that's the sharing of the ceremonial hot dog. Cheapest wedding venue ever, campsite at Goldstream Park. $20. It's got a built-in kitchen, Had hot dogs and s'mores. That was it. And then after they were finished, they went and jumped in the waterfall. And I will tell you this, the parents initially freaked out. What the hell is going on here? This isn't a wedding. We can't do it this way. I had to calm them down kind of in the car. But then in the end, everybody that was there helped to marry them. And then in the end, when it was done, the parents caved the most. And they were the ones who said, this was so awesome. This was them. Who knew? So it's all about authenticity and meaningfulness. And the one thing I'm going to say here as a little plug for us officiants is that millennials consider themselves to be spiritual, right? So they want a meaningful ceremony. Which probably is part of the reason why we now have as many officiants and celebrants on the island, I think, as we have marriage commissioners. Yeah. So it's about the joy of emotions. It's not about perfect. It's perfectly imperfect. Are you guys good with this? Does this feel comfortable to you? Yeah? Yeah. I deliver ceremonies very differently than I did 10 years ago. Okay. What have I got coming up this year? I've got a couple who are doing breakfast for dinner. It's their favorite meal. Got another couple who have said to everybody, wear your favorite outfit, because that's what we're going to do. Okay. One or two more. Creativity is about creativity and self-expression. Communication is open, and that's all super important. And there is the do-it-yourself component in this, but it's the joy of creating. And they want to collaborate. They want to collaborate with you. So if you say to them, don't you worry, I'll take this off your shoulders and do it for you. No, they want to hold hands. And they want to be a part of the process. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes. They can be traditional as well. It can be an honor tradition. It's not about doing things in an untraditional way. But yeah, 92%, I've got down here, 92% of couples still perform a first dance during the reception. Some things they're just not going to let go of, but other things they're going to let go of very easily. Okay, last one. I'm guessing that this number might be low. 70% are into sustainability. I don't know. You can probably answer that question better than I can, because I just pulled this off the internet. But anyway, it's increasingly a deciding factor. What we did here was the moms grew the flowers in their garden. We built the bride's bouquet at the beginning of the ceremony. They're tying it together right there. Is your head spinning? Does it feel familiar? Some of this stuff? Does it feel? Yeah, it does. But then the question becomes, how do we use that? How do we get to mindful and meaningful? What does that look like? I'm going to go right back here to the productivity pyramid. It's spending a lot of time in discovery. And discovery is not necessarily checking out the Pinterest boards, right? Or looking at what your friends did. This is an inside job. It's not an outside job. It's not outside looking in. It's inside looking out. About what it is you want. We have this tendency as humans to race to solution. We just want to get going. We want to get things done. We want to start getting that planning done. Because once I've got the plan done, I can execute it. It's human nature. But this is the juicy part, this discovery part. And it's a part that everybody can play. Everyone in the industry plays a role in creating meaningful celebrations. No matter what you do, it's all about discovering and responding to clients' needs more than following the latest trends or industry peer pressure. This is what we ultimately want people to say. We really need these specific professionals and items for our wedding because our friends and family mean so much to us. They're traveling all this way. We want to give them an experience they'll never forget. They'll never forget. This is the part that I really struggled with when I started putting this together because I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful? Wouldn't it be wonderful if there was a magical place, a website or something that had really fabulous discovery questions? You know, the kind of questions that you could ask to really get to the bottom of all of those things that we just talked about, to find out what they look like. But the only questions I've been able to find online are probably 10 years outdated, and they don't work in this modern world. And the questions that we ask as well are going to be totally different of people who are potential clients and people who are clients, the people that we've got. And the questions that you ask are going to be different for you as a photographer than they are going to be for you as a florist, right? And those are the kinds of things that you have to stay with and work your way through. And part of that is what values, what matters to you and what matters to them as well. There's questions that couples, could be asking of themselves at the beginning before they even start, which would make a world of difference. And some of those you can find. How many of you have watched the latest series, the latest Sustainably Wed series with the couples who got married? Anybody watch it? There was an episode, can you tell me which one it was, where the couples talked about how they set their priorities. I don't remember which one it was. Brad, where are you? I don't remember either. Watch the whole series. It's worth it. Setting priorities. Okay. That was a cool episode, and it's a great, great, great place to start. Yeah, it's a great place to start. Questions like, I looked at, and I mean, if you're a planner, you're going to ask different questions. You're going to get in there earlier and be able to ask those questions to help people determine what it is they actually really want. Like what's non-negotiable for each of us? At the end, what do we want to say? When we look back 20 years from now, what do we want to say? If we gave our day a title and wrote a 3-line synopsis, what would it be? There's your direction for the day. What are you worried you might miss? The 3 things you had to give up, what would they be? 3 things you refused to give up. You may have your own discovery questions. Let me give you some of mine, okay? Because this is what I know. Before I meet with couples, in my questionnaire, I ask, how important is the ceremony to you? And I give them a scale of 1 to 10. 10 really important, 1 not important. I ask that because if the ceremony is like a 5, they're going to say to me, I'm going to meet with them, and they're going to say to me, we really love you, but you're way too much. So by asking them to rank it ahead of time, I know whether they're my people or not. If the ceremony's an 8 or a 9 or a 10, they're my people. If they're not, I know lots of people who can help them out, and it's really great. What words do you want to say? Give me 4 words. I ask them that. And when the words that they give me tell me right away whether they're going to be a values match for me or not. And then there's the interview. And the interview, I think, is fascinating because it gives you a chance to ask a lot of these questions. And this is what builds relationship. This is what builds trust. This is what allows them to know that it's more than just working with somebody that they like to be friends with, but they're working with somebody who has real value, and will hold their hand through the process and collaborate really, really well. I find a lot of the people I work with, a lot of the couples I work with, they have something specific they want, but they don't even know what it is. So by having a conversation and asking good questions, then we get a lot of clarity. I've just got one more thing here. So what really helps is, as you move from discovery into planning, is you've got to clear your assumptions about what people are going to want. Maybe they want something totally different. And that it's to help them translate their personality and their values into meaningful ideas. And this is the fun part. This is the really juicy part. But along the way, it builds trust and value, and it helps them winnow down what matters the most. And there was somebody here, Nicole, from Intended Events. Are you here? There you are, Nicole. I creeped you last night. Yes, I did. Nicole just got married. Did you know that? She's a wedding planner, and she just got married. And you wrote blog posts about what it's like to be on the other side of being, And one of the things that you said, if you had to do it over again, was that you would do away with all the things that don't feel authentic. Huge. Absolutely huge. And so your planning may end up looking very different than it does before. because what you're doing is helping them sort out the stuff that they don't want and focus on their values. And you're also giving them permission to throw out what doesn't feel like a fit and to hang on to the traditional stuff that does. So what they end up with is something that is truly meaningful for them and for everybody else who is there. Make sense? So I want to float this before we go to questions. And it's about holding hands. One of the things I find as a professional is that I think that we often work in silos. So, you know, a lot of the time, by the time a couple finds me, there's a plan already in place. I'm just doing what I can do within the parameters I've been given, right? There's a box there, and it's my job to fill it. And then sometimes I find that I'm duplicating work. Videographers or photographers, they're out asking, they've got their own questionnaire. How many people have got a questionnaire that they're handing out? Yeah. And how many questionnaires are the couple answering? Right? And then I think, wow, like, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we could kind of hold hands a little more? And be a little bit more supportive? And really kind of be a team? You know, maybe you're doing that already. But I don't find that it happens that much for me. The one thing I do as a team is I work really well with Chelsea and Brian. We always talk about the ceremonies we're working on together. We hold hands and really try and make it better. And it makes it a whole different experience. And some of the photographers I work with, we work that way as well. So it makes me stop and think, is there a way that we can hold hands more often and make things a little better? If we all did a brainstorm at the start or something like that? What if we could work things over? You know, if I could work with a florist, it would be absolutely amazing to work that into the ceremony. And I was thinking, you know, if there was a signature cocktail, it could become part of the ritual in the ceremony, right? The story. Like, the whole thing could be really cool, and then everything starts getting connected rather than just we all do our own little part. How much value would you have then? How much value would we all have then? How special would your couple feel? Oh, this is my last little plug right here. Where'd it go? Here we are. My little pitch. Emotions and memories are super sustainable. That's the thing I find. For me, my sustainability is all around creating the emotion, creating the memory, because those things stay with you. They cost nothing. Residual footprint settles in your heart. And they last long, long, long after the day is over. And that's why we're really all here, isn't it? Well, I think that's done. Oh, there we are. There's some research, if you want to do some more research into that, where I got some of that information. There they are, collaboratively putting the food table together. Last one. Thanks to the photographers I've worked with. You guys are awesome. Dogs are signing the marriage certificate.
Is that legal?
That was a special one we made up. That's it, I'm done.
Awesome. Big round of applause for Barbara.